It's my first progression to break the team down. I'm going to go with my number one asset. LeBron's number one asset is not three-point outside shooting into the game.
Well,
so when he takes that, if he takes that shot, I said, you're not taking the best, highest percentage shot that you can based on your talents and what you have.
Yeah, even though I still go back to the thing, he's playing guard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are again.
Right.
Theoretically, he would be setting up a wonderful play to an overpowering center.
True.
For a short, in other words, Magic being another example of a big guard. To me. One of those big who could play center.
True.
So when you have guards that can play center, that's what I'm saying. They have these different options, but then look what Magic's choices were too.
Right.
Again, he had other team members who you needed to count on the score.
Right.
And again, I think that comes back to Bosh maybe.
Right. And you know what?
Bosh should have
they actually say he will be a higher percentage shot because he doesn't have to take the outside shot.
Right, because theoretically it should be Wade.
Right.
I just threw in the fact that when you have a guard that's a center, just like with Magic, geez, you've proven that offensively, I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. You can try whatever the hell you feel.
To imagine you're guarding Magic and you go like, okay, he's going to pass it to one of the other four players.
That's what I'm saying.
And he can score over me. And he can
over
drive.
You. And he's that big to get his own rebound. See, that's what you want from LeBron.
And he doesn't do that.
Not yet.
No.
But even still, even from a person who looks like he's got more physical ability than Magic.
I'll say this. He is in his 8th year. This is not a young man anymore.
Well, that's you
he's in his 8th year.
You know what? That's always comes down to, it's to accomplishing what you can with what you have, all right?
Yeah.
So he has to deal with that same challenge like all of them.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade has to, there's a bunch of them have to deal with that,
That's right. And Dwayne has already been there. Chauncey's already been there. So I think the part that they're saying is, LeBron, when you play a little bit smarter, you're going to be just undeniable. Which leads me to now a question about, did the Knicks achieve the level of their momentary greatness by defeating the Heat? Or were the Heat at a point of saying, we played the type of game we did in the first half, we just didn't sustain it? Okay, we got that. Here it is, Mario. The 6th place right now is being held by the New York Knicks. If Chauncey, Carmelo, Stoudemire play what we call staunch defense, they're not going to do it every night. For the rest of the regular season, what position do you believe as a seeded playoff team is the highest position they can attain? They're in 6th right now if they start the playoffs tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Or will they stay at 6 or go even further down, 7 or 8? What do you think?
I think they probably do. I expect them to do well.
Okay.
I think they might move up.
Think it might move up? Okay. And I'm saying, I'll say this. It's another level. I'll give them, you're not going to get back by Boston. I believe Miami just Miami can lose more games, and I just think they're going to win more games because they're just teams. You have to offset that 2-1. That means New York has to win twice as many games to me to be able to say, let me sustain at least and increase competitively the record to catching up with.
See, I don't know how they're going to do with the record.
Yeah,
because that's the harder part. But I'll say this. The playoff picture is now confusing.
It is.
In a wonderful way.
Yes.
In a wonderful way. Wonderful way. Even with on the West, right?
Right.
So I'm all happy
about
the Knicks being there. I think it's a wonderful challenge. And I think that this one game, they made everybody look at them differently. And with one game, and even the first series of games have given everybody different looks. So now I don't know how to answer that one, Vic, because now I'm still worried about the injury factor for all of them, right?
Right.
But I think the playoffs are going to be something else. And people say, well, could the Knicks go all the way? Well, of course they could.
Right.
Will they is another whole thing.
Right.
But could they? Let's put it like this. I bet you Spike's going to be saying they could.
Right. Yeah. Look, Spike I agree with you, Mario. I think they may not be the ultimate big three, but if you had to think of teams that have the big three, you got Miami's big three, you got the Lakers' big three, and you have Boston's big three, you can literally say we may not be the best of the big three, but we have ours too. And 2 of the guys on our team have already won NBA championships.
Well, that's what I'm saying. By the way, so you two keep dissing Orlando.
Yes. A reason why. And reason why I'm dissing Orlando.
Everybody putting on what they're going to be so pissed off. Ain't nobody talking about them.
No, I sat there and said, you guys missed your window when you had Hedo Turkoglu. The year that you had him, he gave you guys something, and he performed above the expectation level. You guys took that timing. It went away. Orlando, you're not a defensive team. You do not scare anybody.
Boy, it's interesting. That's why. No,
not a defensive team.
Well, they don't. Even though they made it to,
Yeah. I like what they're doing, but I think the writing's clearly on the wall. You got scorers, you got people who want the ball, and the only defensive player on the team who really likes to – when you wait for your defense to get to Dwight Howard, that's not how you're going to win NBA championships. So you have to have some other players step up. So I see, to me, where if there's a team that New York can overcome in a 3 or 4 spot, I see Atlanta not having the same that they had before, and I see also Orlando. So I can see New York, if they play the way they can, sustain, it can overtake those positions.
Well, because we know Amari and Carmelo, and see, their ability for them to elevate their game is what makes me really stand a little bit and hold my breath a little bit. Because I expect Carmelo to play like you ain't never seen him play. And I think Amari looks at this as a chance of redemption, too.
Oh, I think
and Chauncey's solid as shit.
Yeah,
so they going to come. I don't care if it's the Celtics.
Right.
See, now... But it's not a question whether or not you can beat them. Will you beat them?
Right.
It's going to come down to a question of will.
Right. And none of these players, Amari Stoudemire, is a scorer. He doesn't care what jersey he puts on. He plays the same way. You look at Carmelo, the same style. Chauncey goes like, I've been in Detroit, okay? I've been in Denver. I'm in New York. You think the stage is going to mess with me any different than where I was before? No, I said the part that I think their IQ the way they play is going to probably be they're going to affect other players on the floor to watch how the game is played. So the examples of the role players to me now are going to be enhanced. And if they have that lit underneath how they're playing, they'll do something that Miami has been able to accomplish, get that chemistry. But now we go over to the favorite player that you like, Kobe Bryant. That's right. Mario's a Kobe Bryant fan, and that game, with Oklahoma.
I have nothing against. Like I said, I'm not a Kobe hater.
I know you're not, but
it's like people make it. You know what? It's like people say you should be a fan of some people, but the hell no.
No.
How you gonna say that?
Wait a minute,
as much as I love Reggie Miller,
right.
You know what? I was never a Reggie fan.
He made you hate him
because I always was rooting against him. But I have the total respect for him, and now that once years go by, then you get out of it and you can go on and like him.
Right.
But it's hard to like him. It's even like Michael Jordan. I know everybody. You guys don't understand. You know how much we rooted against Michael Jordan?
A lot.
From here in L.A.
Because
I was a Laker at that point. I was a Laker fan.
Yes, you were.
And so I was rooting for the Lakers. So I was not a Michael Jordan fan. So
right. I agree.
People can say, "Why should you?" I became a Michael Jordan fan when they was fighting against the Knicks and the Celtics.
Right.
Against John Starks and all them.
But when you got to this side of the town, Jordan was hated just like the Celtics.
That's right.
It's the same way.
That's right. So I tell people, please don't expect. You don't become a fan just because somebody's the biggest or best player.
Right.
It's based on the ones that stroke your vibe and get your ego. Like I'm a Kevin Durant fan.
Right. I agree. And, it leads me to this question. Look, yesterday, the Thunder got up real heavy for the Lakers. They always do. They get inspired. It's the measuring glass and the measuring stick. And most people have to understand, can you play your best ball every game because you're the champions? Well, most people don't realize, even if the Thunder beat the Lakers yesterday, which I'm going to say this. I will say, did the Lakers win more or did the Thunder lose more? I would say, I go back to IQ selection, putting people in the best position. They still haven't gotten to that point where they can say, you know what, in the last minutes of the game, we know how to win it. Most of the time, I always say this, watch Kobe and the Lakers when they play and the ball's in his hand. He's either going to win for them or he's going to lose for them. So when the Lakers lose, it's usually a Kobe thing. But when they win, they say, we win with him more. Durant had his winning moment. And it just didn't transpire.
Well, I'm saying I don't think he grabs it. I think, isn't that the same issue with Miami Heat, though?
Yes.
So I'm saying the Lakers, that's part of Jackson's emphasis, Kobe's greatness. They know what they need to do.
Yes.
Miami, they have to figure out what they need to do in the closing seconds, and they don't know what to do yet.
True.
Kevin Durant, I think it's the same issue there when he's not the person to claim it in the final seconds.
Right.
Even though I think he has the heart for it. By the way, let me quote Dr. J, who said, in the final seconds of a close game, some people want the ball and some people don't.
Yes, you're right.
Some people demand the ball, and that's where Jordan was.
Right.
That's where Larry Bird was.
Right.
Magic.
Right.
Okay. Kobe.
Right.
So you noticed all the people I've named are a head level above Kevin.
Yes. I agree.
But youth.
Yes.
And give it time, and it's a whole different thing to play in that way, in that arena. And there's that fine line between being selfish or knowing you're the one who should take that shot.
I agree.
And I think he has to really embrace it for that team. Just like on Chicago, I think it's clearer.
Yeah.
You know, but where you have it and it's a vacuum about who should have that last shot, like Miami.
Right, right. And everybody goes to this thing. Yes. I hate to say we live in a 3-point league now. Everybody says the last shot, usually the most exciting shot to make is the 3-point shot at the buzzer, not the necessary best percentage shot. And I watched Oklahoma. They were hitting their outside shots, and they were doing it throughout most of the game. And I said, the problem here is percentages are against you. It's a lower percentage shot. You live or die by it. And you lost by it on 2 occasions. Nobody even thought about cutting, ball inside, create a foul, buy more time. It became shoot outside. And I said, okay, did they lose this more or did the Lakers win it?
Well, they don't have Ray Allen, okay? And there's certain people who their 3-pointer is almost as, I mean, you have to argue.
Durant is a 3-point man.
Right. But he still got to prove it in those instances.
I agree.
But that gets to the other thing.
Right.
Kendrick Perkins, right?
Well, see, that's the question I was getting at, Mario, is this. Is because everybody kept saying, well, what if? I said, what ifs are left for people who haven't won the championship. Kendrick Perkins is going to come in, and I already know this right offhand. Bottom line, he is going to give the Lakers a problem as a 1-to-1 measurement, but he still can't handle Lamar, not only Powell and Bynum. Well, he still will get worn down.
Well, that's where you get. That's where. Well, it depends how much he has to do, because it's interesting how the morning sports people, right? I think your favorite people were saying that the Lakers. They said, and I want to even quote them. They said that Bynum and Gasol are afraid of Perkins.
Of course.
That's the way they phrased it. On I think a healthy Perkins, if he is healthy. I don't. The whole issue, how much can you play? I don't see him having an issue sustaining against either. I don't think Gasol even stresses him personally.
I don't.
Now Bynum's a little different, but I don't see it. He should. In other words, he should be able to put some minutes in.
I'll say this: I don't fear Perkins at all. You know who I fear? Who's elevated their game and they kept, and I think they see it. Big Baby Davis. Not only does he score inside, he gets better rebounds. He's more of a hustler who can turn points and convert points easier than Perkins can. I see Perkins wearing people down. Let me lean my body on you and do the rotation. I said, look, LA's already gone through that with 2. Remember, they played with Perkins to a certain extent with only 2 of the big men and still sustained it. So
I said that
3 healthy, 1 Perkins. I'm not sure.
I still say that. That was my issue. I've said before. I thought Big Baby was and is the defining point in that playoff game, because I totally agree with you. And inside against the Lakers, he's fairly fearless.
Yes, sir.
Against the even bigger men, so he doesn't really mind getting his shot blocked. He doesn't really phase him, and he's going to push. Poor Bynum. Like I said. The Lakers are not a shoe-in definitely this year.
I agree.
We know that.
Right.
But it'll be interesting as we get further in the season who you say is favored.
And you know what? And right now, because it's still San Antonio by the efficiency.